Hi, and welcome to all who find this general pick a charm collective reading. My name is Seven, and today I want to go over your current shadow self and blockages. And I want to really tap into what messages your shadow self currently has for you that is preventing you from being able to manifest and act upon your evolution and life accordingly, my beautiful viewers. As a shadow worker, I always stress to people the imperative nature of having a reciprocal and healthy relationship with your shadow self. At the end of the day, its only mission and duty is to protect you. It is to ensure that you do not repeat the wrongs of the past and instead and tries its best to direct you towards what it perceives to be the right course of action. At times, I feel as if we have either too much or too little conviction when dealing with our blockages and shadow self. And we either dismiss it or judge it accordingly when it does present itself to us. And we don't necessarily have a conversation with it. We don't ask it questions to see where exactly it's coming from, to see where that perspective is rooted in. And I think that by allowing ourselves the time that we have here today to dig a little deeper into our roots and see what exactly lies beneath the surface would be very helpful in allowing us to blossom and bloom accordingly, hence the dried flowers that I have available for our charms today. Also, in terms of the astrological forecast that I have for you all, Mars will also be transitioning into Gemini later on this week, I believe on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So while we currently still have it in Taurus, while it is trine Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto, what am I saying? Pluto and Capricorn is also due to transit accordingly within the next few months, if I'm not mistaken, and then it'll be in the very quirky sign of Aquarius. So I think that it'll be very interesting to see what it is that we can get in terms of messages now while the energy is still a bit more harmonious and while we are also riding the waves of Pisces season as well, seeing how exactly the tides are washing up on our shores and what it is that we can learn from the essences of life that are left on the surface. So today for our flowers, we have the sea lavender, we also have the yellow rose and the chrysanthemum over here, and under that I also have playing cards, and on the playing cards I have keywords and phrases akin to the traditional tarot suits, and I have useful words to help further break down the messages surrounding them. So feel free to take a moment to pause right here if you need to and pick whichever group you feel is the most representative of where you are in your current stage of evolution. Where are you envisioning yourself blossoming, and how do you feel that these options in front of you represent that accordingly, my beautiful viewers? So feel free to take your moment right here. The timestamps will be available in the description as always, and I'll go ahead and get started on your readings. Hello to all of you who have chosen the sea lavender flower as your charm for today's messages. So let's go ahead and get into what your current blockages are and what your shadow self currently has to say to you in this current moment, my Lavender Collective. Let's go ahead and dive right into these messages. So I do have my handy dandy tarot as always. I have the stargazer playing cards over here. I have some oracle cards, and I also have my flower bowl with messages of resonance and recognance. So I have some numbers, some astrological signs, and some elements and words in here. So we got a cute little drive going on today. As always, all the names of the decks that I will be using will be in the description, so we have a good idea of what exactly it is that we're working with. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what Miss Thing has to say. So the heart of your reading is the Two of Wands, and on here I have written explore your potential, expanding worldview, new sense of purpose and perception. Okay. So with the Two of Wands in the upright position at that as the heart of your current reading, my beautiful Lavender Collective, I think this is in some way, shape, or form, I'm pointing out a bit of a hesitancy to expand your worldview and your perception of it. I think that there's some sort of hesitancy to leap into action or to leap into a particular passion that you may have or you're currently entertaining the thought of in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of momentum within the Wand suit of tarot, so I think that it'll be really interesting to see where exactly this particular blockage is coming from. Considering that it's some wands, I do think that it has to do a bit with stamina and just general ambition overall, because I also think of like the sacral and the root chakras as well. When I think of the wand suit, I think of purpose, I think of ambition, and I also think of what's the word I'm looking for? Like an epicenter of energy almost. So I think that's kind of what you're currently questioning, my Lavender Collective. If you're not finding yourself a bit stuck and in a period of inaction, you're wondering when is the period of action coming for you? When are you able to expand your worldview accordingly? And how are you able to open doors, so to speak? But let's go ahead and get some tarot cards to clarify for you. Yeah, the Empress is your bottom deck energy, so I think this is more so having to deal with how you are creating opportunities. But let's also ask Spirit and let her join the chat. So, Spirit, what current messages from the Lavender Collective's shadow self do they have to rid of any blockages that they may have? Oof, okay. Alright. So, we have the Seven of Swords in reverse, and we also have the Two of Wands that has just come out. So I definitely think that there is some sort of truth or clarity that has come to light. I think this is more so about your mental space, if I'm honest. Yeah, the Nine of Cups is your bottom deck energy at this current moment. I think that this kind of pertains to how you are able to see the resources and information that presents itself to you. I think that you kind of have a new perception that you need to engage in, especially with the Two of Swords here. I think that something is currently keeping you trapped from being able to move forward, and I think what it is, especially because now that we have two twos over here, so there is a want and a need to expand and to collaborate with sources outside of your own. But I think that in the past, when you have collaborated with different sources or different people, or you've engaged in different methods of gaining momentum towards the same action or plan that you had, I think that it just went wrong. I think that it also kind of burned your sense of mental clarity as well. I think that your headspace at the moment is a bit foggy. I think that you're kind of over analyzing all of the information that presents itself to you. I think that there is more clarity than you are currently perceiving, but you're kind of in a debate with yourself, like mock trial almost, that I'm hearing. Like you're not really willing to see that you have the option to expand. I think that a lot of this is in your head, this inability to move forward, or for others of you, like I was saying, perhaps that you don't know how to move forward or what door to open. I think that it starts with kind of just simplifying the answers and decisions, or the choices, I should say, that you are able to make for yourself. I think that by simplifying your choices, kind of like a process of elimination, so to speak, like you're taking a test, would be very, very helpful for you. I think that a pros and cons list will simply be too engaging in this current moment for you, my Lavender Collective. I think that it'll just serve to only overstimulate your headspace at the moment, yeah, especially with the Devil card as your current bottom deck energy. I think that you need simplicity in this current moment. I think that you also need to get out of your head a little bit, especially now that I saw that Devil card. I think that you need a bit of a break and to go back to basics, whether that be you know, simple breathing or doing something within your self-care routine, or talking it out with another person as well. Talking out your options will be very helpful for you. Yeah, we have the Queen of Cups here. It's so funny that I say talking to someone else, and this is the card that comes out. So I think this really is about you kind of internalizing how much you want to expand in terms of your collaboration and general sense of connection with the world around you. I think that the main reason why you are so hesitant is because you are afraid of gaining the wrong information or gaining information from the wrong sources. And when you are presented with the opportunity to expand, with the opportunity to do something new or see something from a different lens, you tend to overanalyze the information that is presented to you. And with the Queen of Cups here, I think that allowing your intuition and your general heart space to navigate your decision making would be a little bit more beneficial to you, because I think that sticking to the logistics and the analytical side of decision making will be too enabling of your very overactive minds in this current moment, my Lavender Collective. I think that you do need to take a moment for yourself, which is probably why we were seeing the Empress card earlier. Yeah, especially now that we have the Three of Pentacles as your bottom deck energy. I think that you reaching out to other people about your need to expand within the world, or how you're able to navigate that sense of expansion, talking to someone that you trust or someone that you know you can confide in when it comes down to emotional matters, will actually be very helpful for you here, my Lavender Collective. I think that you need to also engage in with your headspace with a sense of compassion, and to know that you do have this very big, beautiful brain, and it's wonderful. And I'm in no way, shape, or form judging you or putting down your logical nature by any means. All I am saying is that that also exists on a spectrum. The logistics and the very practical world is always on that same spectrum as emotional matters, and matters that aren't necessarily the most logical, so to speak. And I think that kind of allowing yourself to be a little bit more fluid with your positioning within said spectrum would be really helpful for you. That way you can engage with a new perspective for absolutely anything that comes your way, my Lavender Collective. Not only are you looking at the that pros and cons list like I was talking about earlier, but you're also looking to see like how can it also allow you to feel fulfilled. What does it fulfill generally within your emotional and intuitive world. I also think that for others of you, perhaps your main reason to be reluctant as well perhaps might have to deal with mother wounds. Perhaps you didn't have the best relationship with a maternal figure while you were growing up, and that kind of skewed your ability to trust the world around you and the information and the people that harbor said information when they present themselves to you accordingly. I think that dissecting that maternal wound a little bit and allowing yourself the freedom to trust yourself within your own sense of expansion and within your decision making primarily will be a great way for you to gain a much more solid relationship with your internal world and your internal self, and it'll really allow you to engage in your fears and engage with your hesitancy with a place of compassion and understanding as opposed to a place of judgment. So let's go ahead and see what else I can get for you to clarify this energy. So for let's see, Lavender Collective Spirit, what does their shadow have to say about their current blockages and how are they able to Oof. Okay, yeah, we have the Three of Swords that has just presented itself after I talked about that maternal wound. So I think that is something that is healing for a lot of you, and I think that is why you're currently trusting yourself a bit more. One second, my Lavender Collective. Hello again, my Lavender Collective. My mother had just come home, so I wanted to greet her and just generally ask her how her day was accordingly. But aside from that, back to your reading. So with the Three of Swords in reverse here, I definitely think that this is something that a lot of you are healing from. Now that the current bottom deck energy is also the Hierophant, this definitely has to do with traditions, like family traditions is something that I think of, because this card is ruled by Taurus after all, and Taurus is very big on inclusion and ensuring that the people around them feel not just a sense of inclusivity, but general connection and groundedness as well with the people around them. As a Taurus, I can confirm that is something that I really like to ensure of when I truly care for people. So with that being said, I think that this is something that you're healing from, wounds that are in relation to the way in which you perceive the world around you growing up and how you were able to navigate it accordingly. Navigating it, I feel as if a lot of you kind of had to do on your own. You kind of had to figure out what worked for you and what your moral compass was, so to speak. And also had to love yourself and be there for yourself in the process. I think that is an acquired skill, to be very honest. And when you aren't really given a strong set of emotional standards to follow or build upon, it can be very tricky as you get older to really navigate this big earth that we all share and all the life that exists within it, and knowing where exactly it is that not just where you fit in, but where you're also able to find a sense of happiness, find a sense of oneness, find a sense of joy and love within the world around you. I think that is something that a lot of you really seek at the end of the day. It's not about material pursuits by any means. It's really just about your happiness and your passion, and allowing yourself the chance to experience that, to experience joy, to experience curiosity, and to experience your general capacity, not just emotionally but also mentally as well, because we also have the Queen of Swords that is currently greeting us, allowing yourself to really live, speak, and be your truth. And I think that really starting to clear out your headspace by talking to your shadow and asking it really, well, why do you feel like this is an unsafe option? Or why do you feel as if this is something that isn't worth pursuing? Why do you feel anxious about this? Why do you feel scared of this? Why do you feel upset about this particular course of action? Where does that come from? Why do you feel reluctant to do so? Kind of being able to pinpoint those particular anxieties and allowing yourself to engage with them with that sense of curiosity, like I was talking about earlier, is a great way for you to really explore your world and to get a very concrete comprehension of how you have come to be in this current stage of growth, my Lavender Collective. I think that it'll be really helpful also, like I was saying earlier, for you to really engage with people that you trust. Perhaps some of you already engage with a therapist. If not, I think that it'll be very beneficial for you to also seek counseling if it's available to you. If not, having confidence within a friend, having confidence with a person that you love and trust, or perhaps even for others of you, if you're really willing to do so and you find that it's necessary within your current course of action. Yeah, maybe for others of you, perhaps it'll also be beneficial to even reach out to this particular person and to see how you are able to reignite a bond, but a bond that is much more healthy for one, and also much more balanced. Because with the Devil card also popping up again, this definitely is about feeling trapped or feeling just generally tethered to something outside of your control, not allowing yourself to gain the necessary freedom. This is also that root chakra energy, like I was talking about earlier. You can see it kind of going right over here, generating here, I should say, and allowing that to be the epicenter of the devil's energy in this particular suit, which I think is very interesting, because I was talking about that root chakra earlier. So I think that it really kind of all starts with the root for a lot of you. Perhaps doing root chakra work would also be very helpful for you in this time. I think that it will be also very, very helpful for you to do throat chakra work as well, because we have the Queen of Swords here. I think that not just root, but root, throat, and crown chakra healing frequencies, for example, or baths or meditations will be very beneficial to you in this time, my Lavender Collective. Yeah, especially with the Knight of Swords here and the Hanged Man now coming out. The Knight of Swords is all about a deliverance of message, a deliverance of words, but it's not always the most known presence around. It's kind of like a swift action, so to speak, a very swift and light action, something that you don't see coming, so to speak. So I think that allowing yourself to engage in a more airy sense of dynamicism with your inner world would be more important, allowing it to be a bit more fluid, and allowing your shadow to just express itself, really, to not feel as if it has to keep everything so bottled up, or that it has to come out in such a swift manner. And that's when you tend to get a bit defensive, and you also tend to defend your tendency to stay in cycles that don't serve your growth and you don't feel fulfilled in, something that you rather feel obligated and chained to. And instead, it's time to gain a clearer perspective and to allow yourself the time to grow into a more sustainable form of happiness. And that starts with allowing you to really switch up the way in which you engage with yourself, and then later engaging with the people around you. But I think it starts with you for a lot of you. Even if you are someone that you feels as if you have to reach out to somebody and to kind of instigate some sort of set ruling with your past relationship with that person in order for you to gain a sense of clarity about not just yourself, but also who that person really is at the end of the day. Even if that's in the cards for you, I think that just engaging with yourself first and foremost, and engaging with your current decision-making process primarily, because that's where I feel like a lot of you tend to really clam up, and that's when your shadow tends to come out. It's when you're in the face of decisions and you have to choose accordingly, and you don't know which voice in your head to trust. And that starts with you asking yourself what it is that you need before you ask yourself what it is that you want. Asking yourself what it is that you need to sustain living, as opposed to remaining tethered to unhealthy patterns or coping mechanisms, or general, what's the word I'm looking for? Energies as well, like toxic energies that don't allow you to really expand your sense of mobility and your sense of freedom. I also think it's interesting that the Devil card comes out for you in particular, because the Two of Wands is all about having room, and the Devil card is about having no room at all, or feeling almost like not necessarily suffocated, but just connected to a source that doesn't have total recognition of your autonomy and the fact that you are able to govern yourself freely. Perhaps for some of you, this is also just that wound was about someone that was overly critical of you, and now you don't really trust your own voice because you're unsure if it's the right choice to make, or you're unsure if it's the smart choice to make. That's really coming through for a lot of you. So I think that engaging with yourself with a sense of compassion and asking yourself why you feel that way about your decisions accordingly will be very helpful, and it'll also allow you to make room for forgiveness and to make room for a more refreshed perspective and sense of navigation, my Lavender Collective. So let's also go ahead and see what else Spirit can further clarify for you in terms of ridding of any obstacles that lie in your path. Okay. Again, we have the Seven of Swords. So yeah, the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords came out. So on here, this is all about paranoia, sleeplessness, restlessness, and needing to just generally relax, to put plainly. So overthinking as well. I wrote over here. So I really do think that you are simply over delegating the pros and cons within your options, and that it'll really do for you to just take any information as it resonates, kind of like what tarot readers say, and to not let the rest take for you. To be very wise about the information that you gain, to know that not every 2 cents is worth investing in, and to know that at the end of the day, your integrity and intention needs to be the only information that's clear to you, my Lavender Collective, because your current bottom deck energy is the Ten of Cups. So yeah, it really does have to deal with allowing your more emotional world to take the wheel here, and to allow yourself to be navigated by your sense of I'll take these two, to navigated by your higher self, your intuitive self, and to allow that to make its voice known, because I feel like right now it's just your rationality and your paranoia that's governing your thought process. Yeah, because now we have the Four of Wands in reverse, and I was talking about that maternal wound energy earlier. So here we have imbalance in home, isolated, lack of communication. So I do think that some of you do need to reach out accordingly to somebody, even if it's not that particular figure that inflicted wounds upon you, especially if they've done too much. I will no way tell you to do that if you feel as if that relationship is not worth saving. But if you do have another maternity figure that you can trust and confide in, I think that talking to them about everything would be really helpful to you, because we also have the Nine of Wands coming out now. This is about perseverance and keeping the momentum, and allowing yourself to stride through any obstacle that presents itself. Yeah, because now we have the Six of Wands as your bottom deck energy. So there is success. I think that you need to be assured that any decision that you make ultimately isn't wrong, because it's leading you to a more clear, concise idea of what you need to be happy, my Lavender Collective. You're not really wasting your time if your intention is to learn more about yourself and to better understand who you are and what your general voice needs in this moment. Yeah, because your first oracle card that came out is the Skull of Darkness, blind spots. So I do feel that yeah, a lot of you are not really seeing the entirety of your ability to expand accordingly, because you're a bit tethered by your inability to see information clearly, because you tend to get very caught up in the small details and analyses of it. I think that allowing room for organicism, and it's not necessarily leaving things to chance, but trusting in the chances that you do take and the opportunities that you do acclaim for yourself, and setting the intention of knowing that you are doing this ultimately to better yourself. Yeah, because here we have Vampire that just came out, which says emotional intelligence under it, and we also have ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA. So I think this is kind of dealing with family for a lot of you. But what this ultimately is also saying is that you know yourself at the end of the day. You know yourself better than absolutely anyone does, and that you are still doing yourself justice and doing your own legacy justice and doing your ancestors justice by staying true to who you really are, by staying true to your happiness, by staying true to your sense of harmony. Yeah, unnecessary fear, graveyard is your bottom deck energy. You have to stay true to your individuality and identity, my Lavender Collective. That is what's ultimately going to open doors for you and allow you to acclaim opportunities and people and places that are going to be entirely complementary to who you are, and will never cast a shadow of doubt in your sense of freedom and governance at all. I think that allowing yourself the chance to see yourself for more than what you currently do starts by you reflecting on who you are and what is your identity and what makes up said identity. What aspects of your existence have all come into the total sum that is who you are now. Yeah, your first oracle card that came out is Challenge, Dragon Fruit. So this is a bit of a challenge that you are having internally, especially with the bat that I see here. It's like navigating in the dark again, navigating and looking for a sense of sweetness, a sense of nurturing, a sense of nourishment, because a lot of bats also do go after fruits after all. So I think that that's what you're seeking. You're seeking sweetness in your life, and I think that it starts by just looking and knowing that you will find what it is that you're looking for. Just trusting your sense of navigation, trusting your vision, trusting your general sense of connection to who you are is really important here. I think that also for a lot of you, this is something that I will say, especially because the Queen of Cups came out. You know that you're a very sensitive, loving person, and you are simply just seeking the love that you wish to receive. But you have to also embody that you are the love that you wish to receive. You are love, and that your being is an embodiment of it. And allowing yourself to be reminded of just how powerful you are. Yes, commitment. You are love. You embody love. Staying true to your sense of commitment, which starts by being committed to yourself, even if you feel as if you don't have a concise, tangible goal that you are trying to reach in this current moment. Yeah, focus is your bottleneck energy. I do think that a lot of you do, though. I think that, like I said, you do have that very sharp, analytical mind. So I really think that you just need to cut yourself some slack as well, and know that you are so much more intelligent and capable than you currently perceive yourself, my Lavender Collective. And you also have a sense of emotional intelligence to go along with it. So it's not necessarily about doubting yourself or your abilities. I think that it's just about understanding your abilities a little bit more and committing to the growth of them, and knowing that you work with your talents and your sense of potential and passion in order for you to grow as a person. Material pursuits come afterwards. It's always about the pursuit of happiness first and foremost. And I think, reminding yourself that you are allowed to seek that sweetness that you retain within is okay, but also it starts by you acknowledging that you are the sweetness and the love that you seek in the world, my Lavender Collective. So let's go ahead and get some final messages and synchronicities from the flower bowl here for you. So Spirit, what final messages and synchronicities do you have for the Lavender Collective to rid of their blockages? What messages does the Lavender Collective shadow have for them to rid of their blockages? Ooh, okay. There's a lot that fell. It felt like right where my root chakra is. So I really do think a lot of you have to get it popping with some root chakra healing, if I'm honest. Yeah, because here we have the star and the moon that have just come out. That's like the first one that I saw. Then I felt inclined to pick up. Yeah, so there really is allowing you to see the luminosity in your inner world and to be curious about what lies not just within but around and near your world, my beautiful Lavender Collective. Acknowledging that you are an ever-growing wonder, and that any other being that is present within your world is only looking to expand its horizons and boundaries in a way that is meaningful, as well as the opportunities that present themselves accordingly. And it's all in the name of expansion, and for you to grow and see just how much life and vibrancy you have to offer to the universe, my Lavender Collective. Let's see what else we have here. We have the number 5. Yeah, so this is again about like challenges, overcoming adversity, overcoming a period of obstacle. I think that a lot of you have been feeling a little bit trapped, and I think that this is about you pushing through. This entire reading is about allowing you to feel as if you're pushing through. We have the number 12 presenting itself here, which simplifies to 3. So this is allowing you also to engage in a new cycle and engage in a much more meaningful sense of compassion and understanding with yourself, and also allowing it to serve as momentum for your ambitions and sense of commitment, like we were talking about earlier. Here we have guts, and this definitely corresponds to that solar plexus chakra that I was thinking of earlier. I was thinking of mainly like the first three, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. So let's see what else it is. We have a Libra, 11, cardinal. Perhaps you are a Libra, or perhaps you know of someone in particular that this pertains to that is a Libra. But I do think this is just mainly revolving around that self-care energy like we were talking about earlier. I was thinking of the Empress card that we saw as your original bottom deck energy. I think that allowing yourself to engage in that cardinal mode where you're a bit more flexible and a bit more perceptive and curious about your worldview and the options. I also think of the Justice card and like weighing out the options a bit. But instead, I kind of am now also thinking, instead of the traditional scale with Lady Justice, I'm also thinking of Anubis, weighing the heart and the feather. And I think that's kind of something that you can use as a helpful metaphor for delegating your decision-making process, my Lavender Collective. Yeah, here we have Taurus. Okay, a lot of Venus energy. The number 6, and we have some fixed energy present as well. Yeah, so this is more of like that stubborn rigidness. I also think of the Ancestors card that we saw earlier. Perhaps it does relate to family for a lot of you, and it's about reaching out accordingly. Yeah, okay, speaking of, we have the throat chakra energy that has presented itself here. And with the throat here, this is definitely about speaking effectively and speaking truthfully about matters of the heart and how it is that you really feel, and saying it with conviction, saying it with purpose, and standing firm in your truth, my Lavender Collective. Here we have the number 8. Yeah, so this is definitely corresponding to time. And realizing that time is not a linear construct, neither its growth, it is a dimension of its own, and that it will continuously go about in loops and circles, and it is simply up to us to manage to keep up with the drift of it all. It is never something we will control, rather coexist with, and there is no time wasted, essentially, for it is a continuum, it is forever, it is eternal, it never wastes, it simply continues. And I think that will also be very helpful for you to remind yourself. So yeah, we have the metal element that has just greeted us. So I think that with this coming out, it's also about that sense of creation and that sense of transmuting energy, knowing that it is naturally made and provided from the earth, but also allowing yourself to forge materials and meaningful sentiments with the knowledge and resources that you gain from your inner world, my Lavender Collective. Here we have the number 4. So with the number 4 here, I'm thinking of the Emperor automatically. I'm thinking of that sense of assuredness, the divine counterpart, like that divine masculine, divine feminine balance to the Empress, standing firm in your emotional world, but also defending it and defending your own honor, so to speak. Yeah, speaking of that fluidity and that spectrum, we have water energy present and greeting us. Hello, hello. So I definitely do think of that Queen of Cups. Perhaps you are a water sign, and there are a few water signs watching this. Kind of allowing yourself to feel those tides of Pisces season accordingly, and allowing yourself to kind of not get lost, but get carried into the drift and understand where exactly it's leading you, my Lavender Collective. Yes, and here we have redo. Yeah, this definitely is about you doing something over, especially now that we have that Two of Wands, like I'm thinking. I feel like a lot of you are just redoing something in the name and sake of yourself, doing something for the sake of your own passions and your own happiness, but also doing it right because you have a more set idea of who you are with this knowledge about yourself that you will be gaining, my Sea Lavender Collective. Doing it with confidence, doing it with assuredness, and doing it with commitment and with integrity is going to be a very promising pursuit for you if you allow all of you to be fully present throughout this process. So that is what I'm currently seeing for you, my beautiful Sea Lavender Collective. I hope that this wasn't too triggering for some of you. I also would like to just thank all of you for being here with me and for the people that voted for this particular reading. If you don't know, I also have an Instagram where I kind of do polls to see what the folks are into, so the link to that will also be in the description. But do feel free to give me a little like and subscribe if you're digging the FM frequency I'm throwing off into the ether, or also leave me a comment if this resonates or if you have any other questions or concerns. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, now and always. I will always treasure and cherish every single presence that is here with me. Please stay safe, please stay blessed, and I will see you all soon. Bye! Hi, hello, and welcome to all of you who have chosen the yellow rose as your charm for today's messages. So today I want to go ahead and just get right into it. Let's go ahead and see what messages your shadow self currently has for you, my Rose Collective, and what it is that they are able to contribute in terms of wonderful words of insight and wisdom that will allow you to break through any blockages that may currently be presenting themselves in your path. So I have my handy dandy tarot as always. I also have my stargazer playing cards. I have some oracle cards, and I have these beautiful messages in my cute little flower bowl that I always keep nearby. I actually have astrological signs, elements, numbers, and general words of recognizance and remembrance, just to boost the theme of the reading into a much more concise message at hand. So the heart of your reading is the Seven of Cups. Choose wisely, revise intentions, and revert possibility. Okay, so I think that, not revert, excuse me, revisit. Sometimes I cannot even read my own handwriting. So with that being said, I think that currently you have quite a bit of options presenting themselves to you, my Rose Collective, and considering you are the Rose Collective, I presume that this more so has to deal with matters of the heart, especially because we do have the cup suit following your particular charm for your reading. So I think this is simply about you further navigating your emotional world and your happiness, and what exactly it is that is going to make you feel the most fulfilled. A bit similar to the last script that I did, but I feel like you have a more notable and generally what's the word I'm looking for? Tight, there we go, a more tighter bond with your emotional space, and you aren't exactly questioning, you're just exactly questioning, where is it taking you? Where is your heart space taking you? Perhaps you currently have a few decisions to make in terms of how you are wishing to expand your relationships as well. I'm hearing for a few of you, and you're wondering how you're able to do so with fairness and compassion as well, especially with the Six of Pentacles that has presented itself when I split the deck. This is all about reciprocation and fairness and equity amongst the community primarily. So perhaps this is a bit of a community or external affair for many of you, but of course we will let the tarot clarify your messages. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So, por favor, Spirit, what messages does the Rose Collective Shadow have for them to rid of any blockages and obstacles that are presenting themselves in their path currently? What messages does the Rose Collective Shadow have? Any blockages and obstacles that may be presenting themselves in their path? Ooh, okay, so I was correct. There's no merit in being right, but I guess there kind of is when you're a tarot reader. I don't know. But I look to be honest and clear. I don't look to be correct. I feel like that kind of feeds the ego a little bit too much, and I kind of have a sign outside of mine that says, please don't feed the ego. It's also a Daniel Johnston art piece for any of my art nerds that are out there, but tangents aside. So we have 4 cards here that have presented themselves to us. So the first 2 cards that I'm looking at, so this is an external affair. This has the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Cups presenting themselves here. So I definitely think that this is about you allowing other people in, my Rose Collective. I feel like some of you are wondering if it is worth the effort to collaborate and communicate with other people, especially now that the Eight of Wands is presenting itself. I think that you are wondering if it's worth the effort with the Hangman coming out here. This is that Pisces energy. This is kind of looking at things through rose-tinted glasses. forgive me for jumping to conclusions, but I think that this kind of has to deal with a lot of you kind of being scorned by love in the past. You get very excited by the prospect or pursuit of another being, and you become so engaged in the possibilities that could occur with the two of you, deepening your sense of connection and understanding of one another. But I feel like for a lot of you, you tend to get a bit lost in the sauce, especially with that Pisces energy coming out again. It is ruled by Neptune after all, and Neptune is a rather hazy planet, if I'm honest. Yeah, your bottom deck energy is the High Priestess. Ooh, okay. So this definitely deals with your sense of knowing, your sense of assuredness, when it comes down to you sharing and expanding your knowledge and your heart space. I think that a lot of you recognize that the love that you have is so pure. It radiates its own tone and frequency of healing and just general togetherness. I feel like a lot of you keep your emotions very much to yourself, and that is currently something that you're breaking out of, and your shadow is also heavily implicating. The reason why you keep so many things to yourself is because things have happened in the past where you feel as if you aren't in the position to really share who you really are. You don't feel that security blanket, so to speak, that allows you to freely step into your positioning within your relationships, let alone within your relationship with yourself. Not to say that you have a rocky relationship with yourself, but it's more to say that you keep your world and the vibrancy in life that lies within it very closed. I'm the same way. I'm very much a High Priestess type, and I definitely relate to that aspect of her. She tends to keep her knowledge not necessarily gated, but very close to her temple, so to speak. And anyone can come across this temple, but she is only willing to share her world and her knowledge and sense of cosmic divinity and love with the people who are willing to make that investment in her energy, especially with the Ace of Pentacles that has presented itself here. You want to be assured of your emotional investments. You want to be assured of the fact that you are sharing time, space, and love with the right people. And at times you might, in the past I should say, you might have rushed to that conclusion, and in result your world gets kind of turned upside down in result with that hangman here. And you're sure of how you feel, but you're unsure of how the other person is feeling with the Five of Pentacles here. You're unsure if you're willing to build for the same things, and for a lot of you, you end up get left out in the cold. And it kind of leaves you wondering, like, why exactly you ended up investing so much time and energy into that particular pursuit when you know you have this beautiful emotional world that you can resort to. I'm getting very big bad bitch energy here, and that you know your worth and that you know what you deserve, but people haven't given that to you, and you are here really asking yourself, well, I retain this beautiful, amazing cosmic sense of love. And I want to share that with others. I want to present that to others. I want to offer that to the universe. But how am I able to assure myself that I am making the best decisions? And how am I able to assure myself that I am engaging in that sense of love and connection with sources that not only are on the same wavelength, but are also looking to build that bond into something much greater than itself, that extends outside of the bond that the two of you may share, whatever entity it is that you are sharing time and space and energy with, my Rose Collective. But here we have the World card underneath that. So I definitely think that this is a completing cycle for a lot of you. I think that you're becoming so much more assured of what it is that you need as a person, and I feel like you're really sticking to your guns and your sense of conviction now. I also feel that, especially that this is a card ruled by Saturn. This is a sense of celebration. I feel like this is also about you not just taking in the lessons that you've learned from the past, but also giving yourself a sense of a congratulatory notion of affection towards yourself is due here. I think that you give yourself a lot of recognition and admiration for your ability to overcome adversity, but I don't think that you give yourself words of encouragement that allow you to also highlight your general light attributes and what it is that makes you you, what it is that makes you this beautiful, intuitive, strong, resilient being that you are. Aside from your strength and your resilience and your all-knowing nature, what else, within the smaller attributes of you do you admire about yourself? What else do you really seek within yourself? Yeah, we have the moon card here presenting itself. So I definitely think that this is also you not just digging deeper into your emotional world, but digging deeper into your sense of compassion for yourself, and digging deeper into what it is that you truly love about yourself, and shedding light onto it with the moon card here. That's something that really needs to come out. I think that it'll also help you and really enforce a really sturdy sense of not just boundaries but also standards, not just standards for other people but standards for living for yourself, so that way when other people are being presented to your life, you have a very clear parallel of where you're going and where this other person is going, and you're able to see if it matches up accordingly. It's not necessarily always about going to the somewhere in the exact same way, but you're getting to the same place in your own way. And I think that digging a little deeper within what it is that you love and truly admire about yourself, like maybe it's your sense of humor, maybe it's your artistic abilities, maybe it's just generally the way that you give so much space and love to other people, but not just what it is that you're willing to share with other people, but what is it that in terms of love and light do you share with yourself, my Rose Collective? Maybe even on a more simplistic level, maybe you love how you cook, maybe you love the fact that you are currently gardening, maybe you love the fact that you are currently in school, or you're currently looking to better your circumstance, especially with that Ace of Pentacles here. And I think that you just giving yourself compliments for everything that you accomplish that isn't a hardship is very important here, my Rose Collective. I kind of do the same thing. Yeah, the Two of Wands just came out under that. I kind of do the same thing. It's like, I've been through all this shit, and it's like, yeah, I have, but also instead of just complimenting myself for what it is that I can get over and work through and overcome as a person, what else is it, in my day-to-day, my everyday, do I really feel deserves just as much recognition and respect from me? Because that's also me attributing to my own identity, my own talents, my own means of resonance with the world around me, and showing gratitude for the efforts and energy that I put into it, no matter how big or small it may seem. Just giving myself general appreciation for the fact that I do something in the first place. I think that that'll help a lot of you get a very clear picture of your standards of living and your standards of energy, and what it is that you need to sustain yourself, let alone what is it that other people are willing to offer you to sustain a relationship of any kind. It doesn't even have to be romantic, even though I'm getting the feeling that it is, or perhaps it's just a general soulmate that a lot of you have recently encountered, which is why you're questioning all of this right now. Remember that not all soulmates are romantic. It could also be a platonic friendship, or even a mentorship for others of you, especially with that Pentacles here. Someone that's just able to provide a substantial perspective that really gets you to engage a little deeper with your worldview and your current stance on relationships, and how you're able to not just provide but generally thrive as well within your relationships, my Rose Collective. And I think that it starts with you giving yourself the compliments necessary in order for you to be very assured of who you are and what it is that other people can contribute to your standard of living. And that way you also know that anything that people are attempting to offer you, it isn't redundant, it isn't something that is only akin to a former version of yourself. It's clear, it's relevant, and it's very much a part of your cycles of evolution. When I think of the moon, I always think of cycles of growth too. I don't just think of, things being hidden and secrets, but I think that also deals with the past for a lot of you. Perhaps you, again, keep your inner world very secretive, and this is time that you allow yourself to really shine and to acknowledge your light, and how it simply stands within the universe, and really sheds so much radiance on the people around you, let alone your own auric field, my Rose Collective. This is kind of like night and day for me. Perhaps if it wasn't you being secretive, perhaps it was other people being secretive about their intentions with you, and now you're just wondering if you're making the correct investment. I think that you know yourself, you know your emotional recesses, you know better than anybody, even me, as I sit here and do this reading, your past and what it is that you've been through. But most importantly, you know what you deserve. Especially with the Page of Pentacles that has just presented itself here. I definitely think that this opportunity has presented itself to really enrich your growth. Yeah, the Two of Wands is still your bottom deck energy. So I think that it's worth expanding relationships with other people, and it starts by you expanding the sense of compassion, appreciation, and affection that you extend to yourself, my Rose Collective. And how is your style of that? How is it that you tend to yourself? Not just your wounds, but tend to yourself on a day-to-day basis so you feel functional, let alone fulfilled as a person. And being very clear and assured of that, kind of even engaging in a method of trial and error if you feel like one former method of self-care isn't working for you anymore, and then perhaps maybe it's time to start something different. Or perhaps, like, let's say for example, you like to give I don't know, you like to give yourself a massage, like on your legs or on your arms as a form of self-care. I know I do, that's why I said it. And perhaps you're growing a bit tired of doing that. I think that maybe perhaps engaging in a new technique of doing so, or maybe getting a different oil, or maybe you like to give massage to other people. This is just one example. I'm not making all of you a masseuse or saying that's what you should pursue as a career, but what I am saying is that it's time to really just spice up the way that you give affection to yourself, and to see how you react accordingly. It's going to give you a very clear idea also of your love style and your love language, and I think that it'll allow you to take note of how it is you're able to really provide a sense of balance and reciprocation with a relationship with another person, my beautiful Rose Collective. Let me take this. Oh, we have the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles here. Yeah, so this really also is about fulfillment, but it starts with you getting out of your head here, because we do have the Nine of Swords, and that's paranoia, kind of staying stuck in your very vicious cycle of thoughts, and not expanding and allowing yourself to gain a clear perspective or to heal at that. But with it's still so funny because you have two nines here, so I think this is like the ending of the past, and this is like the ending of the future for you, my Rose Collective. With the Nine of Cups here, I said Pentacles, hello, Nine of Cups. With the Nine of Cups presenting itself, I definitely think that this is that card of wish fulfillment. You are definitely onto something in terms of gaining happiness and having a sustainable future with people that you share time and energy with. There's equal senses of investment, but like I said, it starts with you fulfilling your own cups. I don't know if any of you remember the traditional Rider-Waite Nine of Cups, but it's that man chilling in his chair looking real proud with all his cups behind him, and I think that's how a lot of you kind of have to paint that picture of yourself, my Rose Collective. You got to be really proud of everything that you fulfill for yourself, not just all the difficult shit that you overcome, but every single thing that you do for yourself on a day-to-day basis, because being human is very difficult. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but it's very difficult. I think that it's important that we all give ourselves not just a break, but just some general encouragement and energy to keep our momentum going, no matter how fast or slow it may be for that day. It's always going to change depending on the circumstance, the day, the weather. There's so many different variables that influence our day-to-day, but when we have strong standards, that doesn't waver. Even if the variables around us are constantly changing, we have a very assured idea of who we are and how we are able to pursue goals and happiness. And I think that you really enforcing your standards in this current moment will also allow you to attract in people that are complementary of said standards. Yes, to clarify, again, we have the Nine of Swords present for you. So I definitely think that a lot of you are stuck on the past, wondering if you're going to just get scorned again. And Spirit is here to tell you no, as well as your shadow. Your shadow will always pop up as paranoia. It's like one of the easiest way for shadows to transmute itself. Yeah, your bottom deck energy is the Seven of Swords. Spies and eyes, gathering information, lurking as well. So I definitely think that a lot of you are paranoid about that deceptive energy. But I think this is also about you just really engaging in a new perspective, because I'm also pairing this with that hangman that I saw earlier. And here we also have the Queen of Swords as well, and it's in the upright position. So it's decisive, forward, relentless, and smart decisions. So you are. I just think that you need to have a strong sense of conviction and know that when it's your paranoia getting you out of a promising pursuit, or when it's your intuition genuinely trying to warn you about something. Because here we have the Fool card in the upright position with fuck it written ever so eloquently on the top. And I think that this is just about you giving yourself a chance to be happy. I feel like you're in that Queen of Swords energy where you're willing to cut anyone that stands in the way of your happiness. And I think you need to keep that energy, but don't be unnecessarily defensive, and don't defend your paranoia is another thing that your shadow is also saying. Because even if your shadow does take on the form of paranoia, your shadow is also here to show you a lot about your power, to show you how willing you are to defend your truth, how willing you are to defend your happiness. And I don't think that's anything to shame, my Rose Collective. I think it's something to understand about yourself, and not to suppress, but to know that it doesn't have to constantly stand at the forefront. That willingness to defend your honor, so to speak. I think that you need to, like I said, keep that energy, but know that it's not something you have to keep at the forefront, but you can keep it on call. Because bitches be trifling. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get some oracle cards to further clarify your energy, my Rose Collective. What else does the Rose Collective shadow have to say about the words of affirmation is what I actually have to say about them? Ooh, okay. We have 3 cards here. And this card was your original bottom deck energy. That's so interesting. Your current bottom deck energy is of the Vampire, emotional intelligence. Yeah, so you guys really know yourselves, and I think that's the energy to keep. But like the Vampire, you know, they will go at it with anyone that they feel is invasive or predatory of their energy. So but the first card that you have is a Skull of Light, which is illumination. So I definitely think that this is allowing yourself to be enlightened by your strengths and by your shadow. Because here we also have the Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. So I definitely think that you are currently building a more enlightened and empowered version of yourself after a troubling pursuit of romance or general happiness and emotional connection of the past. And you are definitely on your way to happiness in this moment. I don't think that you're in any way, shape, or form heading towards an unpromising prospect. I think that if you do get that feeling, it really is your paranoia here with the Nine of Swords. But because look, right under that, my beautiful Rose Collective, is the Star card. So I think you'll be okay. I think it's just allowing yourself to gain a bit more of an optimistic perspective of yourself and what it is that you have to offer. Know that absolutely anybody would be honored to be a part of your world. Here we have trick or treat, mischief, and play. Yeah, so I feel like for a lot of you, you don't, while you are in this mischief, like this play energy, it's so funny, I keep seeing the word play come out. So I do think that a lot of people are finally getting a bit more of some sense of action in their world after periods of stillness. I mean, it was winter after a while. Winter is a period of pausing for many biomes and systems in our world. So with the mischief and play card coming out, this is definitely spirit enforcing you to get out of your shell, get out of your yeah, your shell really, to stay in your world but to get out of your shell, to come back to your world but to you know, get out of your shell. Remember to get out of your world as well, and to allow other people in it, because not only do you need to engage in a fresh perspective to enrich your own world, but you also need to allow other people in it so you can see just how exactly life is able to coexist with you, my Rose Collective. It's a necessary sacrifice when we connect with other people. It's also something that I've been really kind of hammering home as a lesson for my own shadow work as of late. It's a sacrifice to be vulnerable, let alone intimate with another person, but it's a necessary sacrifice if we truly wish to have a connection that is sincere and integral and honest. And I think that's something that Spirit is also really pushing for you to connect, and to not stay your big up high priestess energy. Like it's a nice temple, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of nice temples in this world, my Rose Collective. And I think that it'll do you some good to gain a different perspective of life by visiting the world, even if it's in your own meaningful way. It doesn't have to be drastic. You know, you take one step at a time. You go at your own pace. But I think that it's just necessary for you to engage outwards. Yeah, because here we have purpose here, and it's the desert wishbone. So it's so funny because we have the high priestess, and then it's like that moon card, and she has that big beautiful moon right in the smack of her head. So I definitely think that this is about you like I said, engaging the world with purpose. Yeah, well, we have hope here. So Spirit is definitely saying that there is happiness on your horizon, my Rose Collective. Please don't feel as if you're deceiving yourself with your own sense of optimism, because it's actually directing you towards so many promising prospects. I think that you just have to be more trusting of your happiness, starting with your everyday happiness that you have managed to acclaim for yourself, and allowing you to expand your world, even if every single part of it is with intention and purpose, and it's a slow expansion like we saw with that Ace of Pentacles. That's fine, but I think that you just have to make that initiative and plant those seeds accordingly, my Rose Collective. So let's go ahead and get some final messages and affirmations from the beautiful flower bowl. So Spirit, what does the Rose Collective shadow have to say to them to remove any blockages and obstacles from their path? Ooh, okay, falling right on my titties. There I was, affirmations on my titties. Alright, let's stop right here. Ooh. Alright, let's get all of them over here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the first one. Your first one is the number 6. Yeah, the number 6 is all about, like I saw earlier, way earlier in the beginning of that video, with the 6 of Pentacles that flashed itself when I split the deck. I'm thinking about that energy of reciprocation, that energy of continuity, that energy of overcoming adversity, and expanding our sense of connection and understanding with the people around us. Especially with the number 44 that's coming out here. That's a number of spiritual guidance. It's your angels reminding you that they are on your path with you, and that they are supporting you and are there for you. Especially with the number 13 that's coming out to clarify that. The number 13 is very much akin to the death card in tarot. It's akin to change, meaningful change, of course, meaningful affirmations, meaningful ways of living. Here we have Libra presenting itself, and I think that with Libra presenting itself here, it's definitely allowing you to kind of tap into that cardinal energy, where you're a bit more engaged and generally curious of your energy, and allowing yourself to see just how exactly it can manifest itself when you are applying that notion and frequency of love and unconditional love, unconditional support, unconditional understanding of yourself, my Rose Collective. Yeah, here we have the word remember. So I definitely think that a lot of you are just thinking about or remembering the past at this moment, as the future is kind of knocking on your door, and you're wondering if it's trying to deceive you or trick you and like take on a image of the future when it's really just the past in disguise. And I don't think that's the case here. Yeah, because here we have resonance in death. So I think this is really allowing you to kind of kill that perspective, to kind of kill your ego a bit, and allowing yourself to be pleasantly surprised, even if you are in that high priestess energy where you simply know, you always know. I think this is a time to kind of allow yourself to just not know, and to allow life to pleasantly surprise you. Yeah, because here we have Virgo, mutable energy here, so there is that sense of flexibility and adaptability, but it's on the terms of Virgo. This is also Mercury energy, so it's very akin to all the swords that we're seeing here. So I definitely think that that's just allowing, serving as a clarification to not overanalyze your particular energy. Perhaps there are some Virgos or Libras watching this. Hello, hello. Here we have 55 here, and that's about overcoming adversity and allowing yourself to rise through the ashes, kind of like that Skull of Flowers card was hinting at. Here we have genitalia. Okay, so two. Okay, so this is definitely about another person for a lot of you. This is about clearing like love wounds and blockages to that. I think that working with your sacral and your heart chakra and your crown chakra will be very helpful for you, my Rose Collective. Here we have the number 9, and the number 9 is all about perseverance. It's all about being near the ending of a cycle and kind of wrapping up our own chapters, so to speak. Here we have the air element. We see a lot of swords here, so this is definitely appropriate for your reading. That kind of driftiness and unexplainable presence of air, knowing it's always there even when we can't see it. I think that's how you should definitely carry your resonance of love, my Rose Collective. And now we have Leo. Okay, shout out to the Leos that are watching this. We have some fixed energy presenting itself here. So that's that kind of rigid, stubborn streak. And now we have the elements of wood, and the wood element is all about kind of taking your resources and understanding of the earth and creating your own reality and meaningful sentiments with it, allowing yourself to create with purpose, with reason, with intention, with tact, with knowingness, with oneness, and with love, most importantly. So that's what I'm currently seeing for you, my beautiful Rose Collective. I am very, very honored and absolutely happy to be presenting these messages for you now and always. Thank you so much for being here with me. I always appreciate each and every second that I spend channeling for all of you. Do let me know in the comments down below if this resonates, or if you have any other questions or concerns, or feel free to give me a little like and subscribe if you're digging the FM frequency I'm throwing off here. Thank you again for your time and presence. Please stay safe, please stay blessed, and I will see you all soon. Bye. Hello, hello to all of you who have chosen the chrysanthemum as your charm for today's messages. Ooh, she fell, but it's okay, she is intact. Let's go ahead and get right into it, my beautiful chrysanthemum collective. So today we're going to be going over your current blockages and what it is that your shadow self has to say to you, to offer words of insight, encouragement, and advice so you can properly overcome any obstacles that may currently be presenting themselves to you in your path. So I have the handy dandy tarot as always. I have my stargazer playing cards, I have some oracle cards, and I also have my little flower bowl here with just some synchronicities and words of recognizance and remembrance. So aside from like the few like keywords and phrases to just wrap up the general theme of the reading, I also have some astrology signs, I have some elements written in here, and some numbers as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the heart of your reading. So it is the 6 of Cups, and it is upright. So it is the recognition of souls, matching energy, nostalgia and reflections, and past lives. So I definitely think that your current blockage either is in relation to one of two things. Either a lot of you are in a period of reminisce at the moment, and you're kind of wondering if the grass really was greener on the other side, or for others of you, this particular obstacle or blockage has to do with some sort of past life karma that is currently presenting itself to you in your path. I think that is, either way, this is about the past, and it is simply kind of you reflecting on if you are capable of incorporating past versions of yourself, or even things from the past or even people of the past into your present, or perhaps someone or something from the past, or even if it's not someone or something, perhaps it's a feeling or some sort of accidental trigger I'm hearing for others of you that kind of is having you in a bit of a period of reflection and introspection, wondering if who you were or the decisions that you made in retrospect were really tied and aligned with your purpose, and you're wondering what it is that you're currently making of yourself in the present, let alone the future, based on the decisions and partnerships that you had of the past. So let's get some tarot to clarify this energy. Actually, what is this past energy that we are speaking of precisely? So I'm gonna shuffle it twice, actually, in that manner. I don't know why, that's what I'm being instructed to do. But yeah, so I have the Six of Pentacles here, and that's all about reciprocation and community. So let's go ahead and get further messages. So for the Chrysanthemum Collective's blockages, what does their shadow self have to say about them to overcome the obstacles when presenting themselves in their path? Let's take this out. We have the Ace of Wands here, so this is definitely an instigation of rebirth here. I definitely feeling that a lot of you definitely did get some sort of offer from the past, and you are wondering if it is appropriate and in any way aligned with the person that you are today. I think that a lot of you also need further information about, okay, speaking of, I think that a lot of you need further information to make a clear decision about you allowing this reminder of the past to be presented in your life. But I think that a lot of you are also due for a period of rebirth as well. I think that if you are to engage in this opportunity, you have to be a lot more willing to kind of rebirth yourself and make your new sense of identity and purpose, let alone vessel, I'm hearing for others of you. Perhaps you went through some sort of a change that really drastically altered how you looked or how you acted or how you talked, or I'm hearing how you talk for a lot of you, or how you engage with other people as well, because now we also have the Hermit presenting itself here. So let's stop shuffling for a second, but your bottom deck energy is the Queen of Swords. Okay, let's stop shuffling for a second and let me get into this energy. So with the Ace of Wands coming out as the first card, I definitely think that there's a lot of passion and momentum that you are currently reflecting on, my beautiful Chrysanthemum Collective. This is the flower of death after all, so that's kind of going to be a theme for your reading. I'm not surprised. I think that you are looking to really reignite a part of yourself, or some version of yourself that you feel kind of got lost. Yeah, with the Hermit card, you're definitely in a period of introspection at this moment. I think this period of introspection before you take action will be very helpful to you. This card is ruled by Virgo, after all, the Hermit. So I definitely think that taking time to think before you act and asking the right questions will be very imperative in your creation of the present and future, my Chrysanthemum Collective. Like, the questions that you ask yourself, let alone the questions that you ask other people, are going to shape and either make or break this opportunity accordingly, especially with the Queen of Swords here and the Fool card. I think that you are willing to engage in a new sense of being. I feel like a lot of you are thinking about the past and like how you managed to rebirth yourself in the process, or perhaps you're in the process of rebirthing yourself as we speak. And I think that it helps for a lot of you to dig deeper into who you were when you felt your most disempowered, and seeing the power even in that version of yourself, seeing the life and the intelligence and strength in that version of yourself, even when you felt as if that was your weakest moment. I think that there is a lot of strength in silence, a lot of strength in reflection and inaction. I think that it's allowing for us to look at situations and people and places with a scope of empathy as opposed to a scope of judgment, and allows us to see how exactly it is they plan on shifting, or if they plan on shifting at all. And if not, it's up to you to shift and whether or not you want to do that. I think that kind of allowing other people to simply act before you act in this period of time will be very important for you. I also think that especially with the Eight of Wands here, you shouldn't rush yourself. Even though the Eight of Wands is a very rapid, instantaneous card, I feel like a lot of you kind of want instant gratification for the work that you're putting in to transform yourself and transmute your energy accordingly, especially energy of the past, and kind of solidifying where exactly it stands within your current vessel and how it will expand into your future accordingly. I think that a lot of this starts with you asking questions. That's why I keep seeing the Queen of Swords here, especially with the Six of Cups coming out. It's that sense of recognition, like kind of like asking another person, do I know you from somewhere? That's the phrase I always hear in my head whenever I see the Six of Cups. And I think that not you asking exactly that. Perhaps that's what some of you need to ask, especially if this kind of deals with someone that you have like a soul contract or a soul tie with, and you're wondering if you should instigate any sort of energy into this particular connection. For others of you, I really do think that this is just about you reflecting on who you once were and finding empowerment in that. I think that you kind of also, like I was saying, want that instant gratification for all the work that you're putting into yourself, but it's a slow build. I think that you're getting somewhere with the Ace of Wands coming out. You definitely have reached a checkpoint, so to speak, especially with the Hermit card here. You're definitely in the depths of your spiritual acquisition, let alone empowerment, and that you are really understanding who you are at your core, at your soul's core, and you're having a more frequent sense of communication with your soul. But I think that you need to ask deeper questions. I think that you need to also instigate passion within the questions that you ask yourself. Not just asking yourself how you felt about something, or how you feel as if that isn't applicable to your current circumstance, or how you've managed to grow from them. Kind of asking yourself how you managed to do that within that process. Although that's very vital information, especially with Virgo here. That's all information that you need to better understand yourself. But I think that you also need to really switch up your relationship with progress in terms of your own growth. Yeah, because we have the Ten of Swords here. So this is the ending of a tough cycle, ending a period of pain, and allowing ourselves to feel a sense of release, knowing that the hard part is over, so to speak. I think that that's where a lot of you currently are at in your healing journey, or for others of you, your spiritual journey, knowing that the hard part is over, and now it's kind of time for you to get on out there and explore and find your own sense of fluidity and transmutation with your energy, especially with that Hermit card here. I think Spirit is definitely giving you the green light on that. But with the King of Pentacles in reverse as your bottom deck energy, I think that you need more substantial grounding. Is this deck upside down? It is upside down. So it's upright. So with the King of Pentacles upright, I do still think it needs more grounding though. I think that you need something more substantial, because if you look at this particular variation of the Ace of Wands, you'll notice that it's not even in the ground. Even in the traditional Rider-Waite, it's literally a hand holding out a wand, offering it to the universe. I think that you having all of this gravity defying passion and general energy is wonderful, and I think that you reflecting on yourself and using it to your advantage to gain a better comprehension of who you are and how your inner workings are relevant to your day-to-day process, let alone your long-term evolution, is very, very crucial to your development and relationship with yourself. So I am in no way, shape, or form insinuating that that is for naught. However, what I am saying is that I think that you need to Also, for one, exercise a bit more patience, because even though cups aren't such a slow energy like pentacles are, even though the king of pentacles, he's slow, but that's because he goes at his own pace. He knows his stamina, he knows his energy, he knows exactly who he is and what he's capable of and what his potential entails of. And even if he isn't the most verbally affirmative with his intentions, his actions say it all. So I think that this is also allowing for all of you to simply act, but not act hastily. Even if a lot of you, again, have that burning desire and momentum to really get on out there and practice with your spirituality and understanding of yourself. I think that you need to just, instead of rushing into something, exercise fluidity within your general development and evolution, my chrysanthemum collective. Exercise fluidity, exercise patience, exercise knowingness, the most importantly, knowing yourself and your potential and who it is that you really are at the end of the day is probably the most rewarding piece of insight that you can ever provide yourself. And I think that, at this current moment, you simply knowing yourself is enough for you to open doors. I think that a lot of you are constantly like looking outwards, looking for some sort of engagement or reason to affirm to yourself that you are changing and you are on the right path. But I think that you simply just need to know that you're changing, giving yourself the accolades and benefits and praise, and also compassion that you are kind of seeking to play around with in the world, whether it be like you doing spell work or rituals or whatever it may be. I think that you need to kind of clarify your intention a bit. I think that's where this is coming from for some of you. I think that for some of you, you probably are with the King of Wands here presenting itself. I think that some of you probably did like some sort of like spell work and you were like, where are my results? And I think that with the Page of Cups here, I think that Spirit is also asking you to be a bit more fluid with your manifestations. I think that a lot of you have a very precise idea of what you're going for, but again, fluidity is necessary here in order for your full potential to show itself, let alone ground. It's good to have a very firm and set idea of what you want, especially if it's something that you've kind of been dreaming about and really doing your best to manifest in this current moment. But I think that also allowing yourself to trust the universe and to trust that it will send you something that is a perfect match for your energy is important here. And just generally trusting yourself and your magic as well, knowing that you're doing enough and not wanting those instantaneous results, knowing that there is organicism in growth, there is organicism in time, there's organicism in you, my beautiful chrysanthemum collective. And as opposed to having the more shy, coy nature of the Page of Cups here about your desires, you're engaged in the very forthright and direct and larger than life attitude that the King of Wands possesses. I think that you need to kind of have a mix of both in a way. Be a bit elusive about what you want, but be very direct with your intention. Why do you want it? Why do you feel you need it? Why do you feel it's necessary for your growth? What do you feel it's going to offer you in the long term, not just right here, right now, my chrysanthemum collective? That's a message that I'm really getting for a lot of you, and that it's just all about going with the flow. I know that you are very set on your path and that you are engaging at it full speed, and keep that energy. That's something Spirit is saying. But also know where you're going with that energy. Don't just be a catalyst in your own path and world. Have a set purpose and direction for that energy, and allow the universe to kind of just present its opportunities and entities to you accordingly, knowing that it will always be representative of where you are and where you are going, my chrysanthemum collective. Especially especially with the Hanged Man as your bottom deck energy. It's all about engaging in a new perspective, not allowing yourself to feel so hung up on your past, and instead allowing yourself to see what's right in front of you, what the present has for you, let alone the future. It's so funny because the Hanged Man has come out for literally every group. I think it's that Pisces energy just in full swing for all of us here, not really being at all shy about its presence, let alone its essence, and how it affects us all accordingly. We're kind of all going through the motions at the moment, myself included, and just seeing how we are able to add enrichment in our paths, you know, enrichments in all means of the word. So let's go ahead and get some further clarifiers for you, my beautiful chrysanthemum collective. What? Okay, already. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups here. So I definitely think that there is so much that the universe wants to offer you. I think the universe is definitely listening to you, listening to your manifestations, watching closely how you proceed to grow and ascend accordingly. I think, again, you just need to give it the time necessary in order for it to find you and make its way towards you, my chrysanthemum collective. Because here we also have the Four of Cups, and we also have the Ten of Cups here. So I think that whatever it is that you're manifesting or looking for, it's not going to take on the form that you have in your head. Because, yeah, your bottom deck energy is the Six of Pentacles. Again, we have two sixes, so there's definitely transition here. I think that whatever it is that you want, it's not going to present itself to you exactly how you envisioned, but I think that it's still going to provide you that same sense of fulfillment and happiness anyways. So I do think that there is a bit of merit in me saying to not be too precise, even though Virgo is very precise. I think that also having that flexibility and adaptability of Virgo, and allowing yourself to be a bit more open to adaptability within your manifestations and powers and spiritual journey would be really, really beneficial for you, my chrysanthemum collective. Yeah, the Eight of Swords is here now, so definitely saying to free yourself mentally from your own confinement of happiness, which I think is such an interesting pairing of words. I feel like you're confined to an idea of happiness, and I feel like that idea was born in the past, but I think that you need to experiment more with yourself right here, right now, to know what makes you happy right here, right now, let alone in the future. I feel like that's another reason why Spirit is instigating for you to be a bit more flexible with your manifestations, so that way you have something that is much, with get a seat at the table literally coming out. I think that Spirit's here, with the King of Cups now presenting itself under that. Spirit is here, Spirit is present, Spirit is guiding you towards happiness. It's not exactly what you had originally thought. Perhaps some of you are even walking away from something in the past and instigating a rebirth within yourself is another thing I'm really getting from this reading. And I think you're making the right decision. I really think that you do. It's just that your blessings that are to come from making this decision come in due time. Everything is coming at its own pace for you, my chrysanthemum collective, but it's in divine timing and accordance. So it's going to hit very different in the best way possible when it does present itself to you. It's going to be the moment of bliss, like the Ten of Cups says here, mutual bliss, pure bliss, happy endings, respect, and love. That is all literally in the cards for you, my chrysanthemum collective. I think it's just being open to the notion of love, knowing that it's unconditional, and knowing that, you know, the universe loves you unconditionally, and that the love that it presents itself, or the love that presents itself to you, will be unconditional, irregardless of the form that it takes, and to not to worry about where the universe is taking you, because you are in good hands. Rather worry about ensuring that you are akin to your identity and individuality throughout this process, and you are first and foremost attributed to your truth, and you are allowing that to speak for you throughout this process, my beautiful chrysanthemum collective. Yes, because here we have Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality for sure. So I definitely think that like I was saying, this is about that that relationship of acceptance with yourself, that equal relationship that you have with yourself and the universe, and your sense of growth, knowing that things take their own pace, knowing that change doesn't happen overnight, even if it's instigated by a single event that can happen overnight. The events are to follow will always fall through at their own course. So be very mindful of that as well, because we also have the underworld here where all things pause and begin again. Yeah, so this definitely is about something of the past coming back to you for some of you. And I think that you need to kind of rebirth yourself in this process. Ask yourself if it's something that you really want, or if it's just something that a former version of yourself wanted, or even if it is something that you know that you want right here, right now, and it has to do with the past. You have to make your identity and needs and sense of expression right here, right now known in order for this to work. That's another thing that I'm hearing for a lot of you. Let's see if I could get any other cards, because I feel like it has one more that wants to come out. Oh, okay, thank you. Exactly, because now we have winter, where all things pause and begin again, and then the sacredness of pausing. We literally have 2 cards about pausing here. So I definitely think, yeah, joy, being present in the moment. So I definitely think that like I said, pausing before you act is really important here, because this really does go either way for a lot of you when this thing from the past comes up, or even if it's just about you reflecting on a past version of yourself and how you're able to manifest happiness for yourself as you are presented in this moment, let alone how you are presented in the future. So I definitely think this is just about you being brutally honest with yourself, my chrysanthemum collective, and taking time to pause and reflect, like that hermit energy, maybe even going into a tiny, teeny weeny baby hermit phase before you make any decisions. So that way you stand in your decision with total confidence, and you allow yourself to be completely present in your life. You're not just being present as a past version of yourself or jumping ahead to a future version of yourself because you assume that's what you want. You are asking yourself right here, right now, how or if you are able to make this work, and ensuring yourself that it is not at any expense to you, it's not at any expense to your growth, and it is not at any expense to your future as well. But I think that for a lot of you, as long as you have this conversation with openness and be very open about what you've endured in the past and who you are now and how you are looking to instigate joy and fulfillment and happiness now, I do think that you're going to be met with a favorable response. But for others of you, I think that you're going to realize, well, this isn't what I need to be happy. I need something completely different to be happy, and I need to seek elsewhere in order for me to get exactly that. And you will get exactly that if that is the decision that you decide to make for yourself. But regardless of the conclusion that you reach within this chapter, it requires pausing, and it requires you thinking before you act. I think that perhaps for a lot of you in the past, you tend to just act. Yeah, we have creation present here. So there, I definitely think that a lot of you in the past, you would simply act before you thought, and perhaps that is a bit of a wound that is haunting you in this current moment. For others of you, I think that you're just thinking a lot about the past, and sometimes when you get a little bit too caught up there, it gets hazy with the future. You get a bit, the lines get a bit blurry to separate the two. So this is definitely here to provide you that moment of clarity, so you don't feel so blocked by your own headspace or your own cycle of growth either. So with that creation card here, I am definitely getting that a lot of you have the capacity to create a very meaningful chapter for yourselves. Like I said, this is literally you concluding a chapter and starting one for yourself. Yeah, we have depth here that has come out. But whatever it is that you create, it has to be done with meaning. It has to be done with total homage and understanding to who you are in the past, who you are in the present, and who you will be in the future. Your bottom deck energy is preserve. Yes, it's all about preserving your harmony, your sanctity, your oneness, your connection with yourself, especially because I got the hermit energy and then that 6 of cups. So a lot of you are very, very attuned to your spirituality, and I think that ensuring that regardless of the decision that you make, that allows you to keep that at the forefront because it means so much to you and it's helped you advance as a person is important here. Anything that simply suffocates your spirit or doesn't allow it to grow and express itself has no room in your life. Anything that allows it to be and encourages its flourishment definitely is meant to be in your life. It's really your call, my Chrysanthemum Collective. I am simply providing the messages and options as they come across. You take whatever message you feel is the most reflective of what you need to be happy. So let's go ahead and get the final affirmations and synchronicities from the flower bowl to wrap up your reading. So for the Chrysanthemum Collective Spirit, what final messages from their shadow do they have of any affirmations and synchronicities to help them overcome blockages in their path? Ooh, okay. Let's see. Oh, you have the yogi tea. This hasn't come out for anyone. Aw, the gate to happiness is self-compassion. Exactly. I think that is very important here for you to make any decision yourself. I feel like I should just end it at that. But let's keep going. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, we have the number 4. So the number 4, I always think of some sort of accumulation. Ooh, what am I saying? Accumulation. There we go. An accumulation of resource, whether it be like of knowledge, of status, of just general enrichment, I would say. And I think this is just about you seeking that sense of enrichment in addition to your life in a meaningful way, with depth and with purpose. Yeah, here we have recognition again, the number 6 here. So this is definitely about you recognizing who the fuck you are. To put it very plainly, my Chrysanthemum Collective, that is why this is currently presenting itself to you, to make you come into full realization of who you are and what it is that you have to offer everyone else around you, let alone yourself primarily. We have the wood element here, which is totally attuned to creation. It's all about seeing the resources as they grow and seeing what exactly it is that we're able to make of it, with tact, with purpose, with integrity, and with blueprinting as well, creating like we saw earlier, but creating with purpose. Yes, here we have Aquarius, some fixed energy present here. So there might be some Aquarians watching, hello, but this is all about that sense of expression accordingly, expressing yourself unabashedly and not being afraid of what absolutely anyone has to say, because it is a part of your purpose, it is a part of your truth, it is a part of your mission on this plane, my Chrysanthemum Collective, to be exactly who you are with no apologies, and to continue to grow and improve yourself accordingly, and knowing that you are assured in your growth and purpose and voice is important to you. Here we have Aries. We have some cardinal energy presenting itself here. A lot of fire like we saw earlier. So there is definitely that flexibility and that fluidity present. It's about being very assured of yourself. I don't know an Aries that isn't assured of themselves, even if they shouldn't be in some circumstances. And I think it's just about you having that same sense of boldness present. And yeah, again, we have, oh my god, we have the Ace of Wands is about rebirth, and now we have repurpose here. So it's definitely about you repurposing your energy and time and general identity accordingly, my beautiful Chrysanthemum Collective, allowing yourself the chance to be born again and allowing yourself to grow into this beautiful new and improved version of yourself. So that is what I'm currently seeing for you, my beautiful Chrysanthemum Collective. Thank you so much for being here with me. As always, it was a pleasure and honor to read for you today. I am deeply appreciative of every single second that I spend here with you all. Do let me know in the comments below if this resonates or if you have any other questions or concerns. Also feel free to give me a little like and subscribe if you're digging the FM frequency I'm throwing off into the ether here. I know I talked really fast in this reading. I don't know why. I can't stop. It's always a different vibe for each and every session. Irregardless, thank you so much for spending time here with me today. Please stay safe, please stay blessed, and I will see you all soon. Bye.